it's clear Ayuso is the leader. If nothing happens to Ayuso in terms of mechanical crash or illness, Ayuso is the number one leader of UAE from today on. If that was still a question mark, I think within the team, they probably have decided that already. And so, how things can change, right? Because we've said a few times, well, UAE looked good. They were all together, but Ayuso was not there. When it really matters, he was there, and he won the stage. His first Grand Tour stage, by the way. It's his fourth Grand Tour.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Move Plus. I'm Spencer Martin. I'm here with Johan Bruyneel. We are breaking down Stage 7 of the Giro d'Italia, as well as predicting Stage 8. Before I get Johan's thoughts on it, I'll just give you a quick primer. Juan Ayuso wins the first uphill finish of the Giro, has a 4-second gap over his teammate Isaac del Toro, with Egan Bernal coming in third, Primož Roglič fourth, Giulio Ciccone in fifth. The stage started off hot on the first climb. There was multiple categorized climbs, but the biggest one was at the end. Red Bull kept the gap close. For Johan tried to get into the break. They pulled it back close enough that he sat up and dropped back to the peloton. Things kind of held. It was not the most exciting stage, mid-stage, I would say. But then Little Trek realized, hey, we could try to keep the jersey by getting Vicek, however we want to say that. Please correct me. Please send me some notes, people, on how to say his name if you're a Czech listener. And they pulled it back so that it was close enough by the base of the final climb that the GC riders would contest the stage. Ineos goes to the front, then Bahrain, and then Juan Ayuso's UAE team, after being pretty patient up that final climb, took it up when it got really steep in the last 2.5 kilometers. Ayuso then just explodes away from the group with a really, really impressive surge, wins the stage, makes it look easy. I'm sure it wasn't. Del Toro sprints in, Bernal is there, and Roglič was there, looking not his best, but not too bothered. Johan, what were your thoughts on this? When walking away from the stage, how do you feel about how this Giro shaping up?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's thank you for some of our Czech Republic listeners who have been writing in the comments. Apparently it's Vacek. So so you could probably the easiest you could pronounce this would be Vadsek, Vacek, not Vacek, like I said, Vacek. We better learn to pronounce his name, because we're going to talk a lot about this guy in this Giro and in the future. I mean, my takeaway of the stage, I expected a bit more attacks on the last climb, but at the same time, the last 2.8 kilometers were steep, and it was like everybody was checking out everybody else amongst the favorites. A steep climb like this after, I wouldn't say a relatively easy, but because they went fast in the final. But it's always trying to find out, who is strong, who is struggling a little bit. And also riders want to have the confirmation for themselves of how good they are, because, it's not until you really put under pressure and in conditions in a race, in the final of a race, that So I guess that's what happened today. Relatively closed group of favorites, I would say 15 riders, probably 15, 20 riders until the last kilometer, then a few attacks. And I mean, as everybody was expecting probably a surge of Primož Roglič, which, I mean, this is his terrain. This is his favorite kind of finishes. But I'm going to assume that he also didn't have his super legs today. He was okay, but he didn't have the legs to put in an attack and make a difference. So I think what I really take away from today is the alertness of Juan Ayuso. He was waiting, and then finally when he saw that Roglič was like 10 places back after an attack, I guess, of Ciccone or Bernal. I guess it was Bernal who had accelerated.
Yeah, it was.
It was kind of strung out. Roglič was 10, 12 places back. That's not a good sign. And Juan Ayuso kept looking back. When he saw that Roglič was really like 10, 12 positions back, he went. He had one strong attack and could keep it till the finish. It was impressive display of power of Ayuso. And I think, for people who have been saying, Ayuso's not looking great and he's kind of, not where he should be. Well, I guess the answer is there today. He basically recuperated the time he lost in the time trial, more or less. 10 seconds bonification, 4 seconds advantage on Roglič. So he's now within 2 seconds of the lead, which is a great position to be in, actually, for Ayuso. He's strong. He has a strong team, and they don't have the leader's jersey, so they don't have to carry the weight and responsibility of the race. And then also the collective strength of UAE is something that it's really came to the attention today. First and second in the stage, but also 5 guys dominantly present in the final of the race, and then finally because McNulty's still up there also, no, and Adam Yates. So I think they have 4 guys in the top 15 in GC right now, which is a great situation to be in after the first, let's say, GC stage or some kind of GC stage.
Yeah, well, I didn't say it, but Primož Roglič took the overall lead, and then Juan Ayuso is 4 seconds back. Isaac del Toro is 9 seconds back. It's the crappy double. You lose the stage, you lose time, and you get the race lead. Probably not exactly what he wanted. I mean, you say McNulty. Kind of curious what they're going to do with these guys. He lost 24 seconds on the stage. Adam Yates lost 14 seconds on the stage, and that's real time. That's not even counting the time bonuses. I guess you keep them up there. Maybe you can use that later, but a hierarchy is clearly forming on UAE where it's Ayuso, the leader. As you say, yeah, pretty much even now. The 4 seconds 2 of those are from the time trial, and then 2 of those are bonification seconds. So has essentially pulled back Roglic's like Albanian advantage. It's even now. Del Toro seems to be the second option on that team. If I was picking one, I think he's the little like it. Was it a little weird when? Well, we should say you're right. So Ayuso accelerates. Roglič is very far back. I think Ayuso recognizes that. Roglič actually recovers well, but Ayuso got just such a gap there, like with so much power, that he then gets the advantage in the stage win. He was probably always going to win that stage with that much power. Roglič recovered pretty well, kind of like a medium day, not great, not terrible. But what did you make of Del Toro? Because, like, should he have been sprinting behind Ayuso? Is that not good, or is that good because then he's taking time bonuses away?
Exactly. You could say, well, he sprints, so he kind of tightens the gap, but he does take away bonification points from Roglič. So no, he didn't do anything wrong. I think it was the way to do. Try to get the 6 seconds. And on top of that, Roglič didn't get the third either, so he didn't get any bonification. So I think it's It was okay. Del Toro looks really good, I have to say. He looks comfortable. He looks, he's in front all the time. I don't expect him to be a big factor in the last week for GC, or at least not for the podium or potential winner. It's clear Ayuso is the leader. If nothing happens to Ayuso in terms of mechanical crash or illness, Ayuso is the number 1 leader of UAE from today on. If that was still a question mark, I think within the team they probably have decided that already. And so how things can change, right? Because we've said a few times, well, UAE looked good, they were all together, but Ayuso was not there. When it really matters, he was there. And he won the stage. His first Grand Tour stage, by the way. It's his 4th Grand Tour. He did 2 times the Vuelta, 1 time the Tour where he abandoned, and this is his 4th Grand Tour and his first Grand Tour stage. So I think that's an important win for him. And we all acknowledge, I think, that he's one of the top talents. Still very young, and it's not going to be his last Grand Tour stage, that's for sure.
It should be a reminder to people come into Grand Tours and it's like, I know a goal is stage wins. It's like, think how good Juan Ayuso is, and this is his first stage win. in a Grand Tour. Like, it's not just, you can't just walk into a stage win at a Grand Tour. I actually honestly thought Del Toro was going to win the stage with like 500 meters to go. I thought he looked incredible. We don't really know. I mean, it's such a question mark. He's 21 years old, second year pro. How is he going to react to the third week? I have no idea. And UAE probably doesn't either. So keep him there, see what he does. You're right.
Yeah, I think the right way to go about this for UAE is, no pressure, no expectations, and he's gonna surprise day after day. And finally, if he comes into a position where he has a GC spot to defend, he can do it. As long as Ayuso doesn't need him, or as long as Ayuso is the leader and Del Toro is at the service of Ayuso in case it's really necessary. But I think there should be no expectations on Del Toro at all. That's often how these young guys perform the best, and they surprise themselves day after day also.
And just to wind back to the start, I have some questions for you. See if you can school us, Johan. UAE was like really trying to get Javine in the breakaway. Javine was incredibly strong. It looked like he crashed yesterday. He had fresh bandages on, so I think he did go down. But he was ripping up that first climb, couldn't get away, goes over the top, and it's that Javine. He doesn't look like he's going hard. It's like hands on the hoods, but just absolutely trucking. Red Bull's doing everything they can to keep the gap close, to not let him go. While this is happening, Juan Ayuso's back in the team cars, like having the director put a jacket on him. I was starting to get concerned about the team's organization at this point. Like, he must know that Javine is going to attack to get in the breakaway, and Red Bull is going to chase him. Like, it's a really dangerous position, because what happens if UAE's not at the front, Javine's in the car, is like, well, it jumps in this break, and there's no one there to mark it right away.
It was early in the stage, probably, and I mean, listen, Juan Ayuso must feel he has great legs, so he must have felt confident.
Well, yeah, I mean, looking back, that must be exactly what it was. wasn't worried about it, right?
Yeah.
And then Red Bull keeps it really close, the gap to the break. The Javine sits up, really nice thing to do, actually. It's a 4 or 5 second gap. He realizes they're not going to let him go. Sits up, break gets away. Red Bull holds it close, and then starts to let it go. My silly brain thought, Roglič just said, I can't win the stage, because let it go, guys. Let those bonus seconds go up the road. And then Little Trek comes to the front and pulls it back, because they want the potential stage win, and they maybe want to hold the jersey. And then that gets it close enough that the GC riders can test the stage. Tell me why that's wrong, Johan. Why did they keep it so close?
Well, first of all, we don't know. If I have a hard time believing that Roglič in the middle of the stage would have said, okay, I'm not feeling great, I can't win the stage. Until you don't get to that last climb, you really don't know, because these guys are at 80%, 85% of their possibilities during the stage. So you don't know until you get to 90, 95%, if you can really win or not. So in my opinion, it's a perfect way of saying, okay, we keep it close. And then by this means, we avoid having to, pace the whole stage, because if you keep it close, there's going to be other teams who all of a sudden see an opportunity to win the stage, or to have any kind of interest in GC, and that you're going to get help. If straight away, as the team of the leader, or as the team of the big favorite in this case, because Roglič was not in pink today, but they rode as if they are the favorites of the Giro. If you just let it go and you give them 5, 6, 7 minutes and the stage way is gone, then you won't get any help at all. And with your team, you still have to pull all day, especially if it's a group of 7, 8 riders in front. You'd have to put more than 2 riders to keep that gap within 4 or 5 minutes. If you keep it close enough, you're gonna get help at some point, because the after half stage, another team is going to say, okay, we still have a shot here to win the stage, so we're going to help controlling.
There we go. You're schooling us. And then on the topic of help,
that's what I think. I mean, I may be wrong, but I think
it's a pretty good theory, actually. And then we were talking yesterday. You were saying, I'm curious to see who's going to set pace for UAE on the final climb. Well, we get to the final climb and we don't see that because Ineos says we're going to set the pace. And then Bahrain says we're going to set the pace. What do you make of that? Is that a mistake because it kind of lets UAE hold everyone back until later? Should people have put the pressure on UAE, or is that a way to just say, we believe in our leader, we want to keep them well positioned, let's do this ourselves?
Yeah. Well, sometimes, these teams, for example, Ineos and Bahrain in this case, they have guys there, and that's their job, right? They can do 1 or 2 kilometers at a hard pace, and they know they're not going to be in front in the final. When really the big guys attack. So you may as well have them do their job and set a tempo, which is, the pace of your leader, or the comfortable, semi-comfortable pace of your leader. In this case, Bernal and Tiberi and Caruso, rather than having UAE take over, going 1 kilometer per hour faster and be on the limit. So I think personally, especially Ineos, I liked what they did because I think Bernal must have said, okay, I have great legs. I heard an interview after the stage of Bernal, and Bernal thought that he could win today. So he must be feeling okay. He's third in the stage, so it's been a while since we've seen Egan Bernal in the top of a big race in the front. It's another positive takeaway from today. I think Bernal is going to do a great Giro, actually. He needs his confidence. He needs to get back in the mix there. And today's third place was a good proof of that.
Yeah, well, you were talking about not seeing attacks on that final climb. The pace that they're holding, it was about 33 kilometers an hour before they got to the steep part. So a little hard to just noodle off the front at 21 miles an hour on a climb, whatever that is. So I think they were probably about terminal velocity. It was a good climb from Bernal. I mean, he's a rider, if we're talking about what we don't know what to expect from someone like Del Toro. The thing with Bernal is I'm a little down on him in a GC sense because he loses time to the same riders in time trials as he does on the climbs, which isn't a great combination, but he can be really consistent in that third week. I would watch him for the podium. What do you think about? I think this stage showed us Ayuso and Roglič are probably the 2 riders that are going to fight for the win. But there is a little collection.
We don't know yet.
Well, we don't know, but I think I'm confident.
The Giro is a special race, Spencer. If you look at all the stages now, it's until stage. There's the time trial and there's the gravel stage, but it's until stage 16 that we're going to see a big GC stage again. And then it's all concentrated in the last week. So it's really about, saving energy, recovering as good as you can, being smart, right, strategically. I'm going to start, after what I saw today, I'm going to start counting on Bernal for a podium candidate.
I think podium's well within reach for Bernal. But in that last week, just to nail down on that for a second. So in 2016, that era, whoa, I can't believe Nibali came back from 6 minutes down. We've not seen that in recent years.
That's not happening anymore. Yeah.
Guys huddle together on these climbs. I actually think stage 10 decides the race. As boring as that sounds, I think that time trial is going to be critical because Ayuso and Roglič probably put a lot of time into the rest of these guys.
Well, decide the race. I don't think so. Listen, if you just have one day in the last week that you're not feeling 100%, man, it's so hard.
Yeah, but top guys don't really have bad days anymore. That's I know this is I'm not making the race sound exciting, but think about Roglic's. He really is absurdly consistent, winning Grand Tours by 14 seconds because he just kind of sits there.
You know, who also looked okay today. I mean, not great, but okay. And I expected him to be worse. And it's a guy that we need to have in mind for the 3 weeks and the last week, especially Carapaz. He crashed yesterday. Today, I mean, he lost a bit of time, not much. I think 12 seconds, 14 seconds, or something. Or no, he was up there. I think he was 8 or 9. He was probably in the same time.
Yeah, he was on the same time as the Roglič group, the Bernal group. A downside of Carapaz is he loses time in the time trials.
Doesn't
make it up on the climb. So, and he won that Giro by remember they were giving him like 5-minute blocks he would just attack and no one would follow him. But that probably won't happen again, I would assume. Maybe it could.
It's not so long ago where he was in the lead and he lost it on the last mountain stage, on the Marmolada against Jay Hindley. He was second in was it 2022?
I think that was 2022. Yeah, that's actually a good example of a race that it was crystallized almost, like nothing changed. And then that final climb decided the race. Actually, I think that's going to be similar to this year. What do you think about Giulio Ciccone?
Ciccone today was strong. He was strong. His attack today was not. I don't know what their purpose was. It was hard to imagine that Ciccone would have won this stage against and Ayuso and Roglič and Del Toro. He probably should have waited. And let's not forget Vacek was still there and was, as long as Vacek was not dropped, he was going to be the new leader. It's Ciccone's attack who basically makes Vacek go backwards. I'm not saying that he would have stayed with the leaders, but he had the perfect excuse to wait and let somebody else attack and then try to counterattack. So I think that was a bit too optimistic, a bit too enthusiastic from Ciccone. But still, he's already shown he has good legs. It's a bit uncertain if he can go for a top 5 in the GC. So a stage win is obviously the first objective, I think. And he tried, but I think he should have waited, especially with his teammate, a potential new leader of the Giro.
I was really almost heartbroken by that because he looked so good. But let's close our eyes for a second. How is that successful? He attacks there and they just don't follow. I think he was going to win that out of a sprint or like how Ayuso did, not attacking from a kilometer out. And then it's not like they were just going to sit there and let him go. I think everyone was going about as hard as they could. And then it just didn't really seem like there was room for a tactical game there. I thought he probably should have waited and then tried to win it the way Ayuso did. In retrospect, was he going to beat Ayuso? Probably not. So
you don't know. I mean, listen, he was in the group at 4 seconds. So you're close, I mean, you don't know until you really give it all.
That's true.
It's the last 400 meters. He's 5th in the stage. You can't say it's a bad result and you can't say he didn't have the legs. He was there,
I mean, those were bombs he was dropping. Those were hard attacks. I don't know. I would have waited. I think maybe just wait until the very end, like Juan Ayuso did. That probably is a good strategy. What do you think about Antonio Tiberi?
Well, I think there was nobody else but Ayuso who had the legs to make that difference today. Everybody else everybody was on the limit. And Ayuso just had a little bit more. Tiberi was good. I mean, I think he was there where he had to be, didn't lose time, could hang on, had his team set a good pace, a fast pace. Who was this? It's a Portuguese guy, I think, who set a really fast pace. What's his name? Eulalia or something? Or
I don't know if you want me.
Relatively unknown rider, but I've seen him do some really...
Afonso, not Alfonso. Afonso, Eulalia. Something.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
I've seen him do some really nice things already. Already in Down Under. He was, I said, don't know this name. And he wrote very strongly. So that was a really fast pace. I mean, the pace that Bahrain set and then Ineos, I mean, nobody could attack. Nobody could attack.
And yeah, I agree on that. I mean, what is Red Bull gets the jersey because Roglič, and I don't know if we talked about this, but yeah, Roglič was a little far back, probably played into it. I also think he just didn't have the best legs he's ever had.
Oh no, he was back because he didn't have the legs. It's as simple as that, Spencer. He didn't get surprised.
Who put this climb here?
It stretched out after Ciccone attacked, and then Bernal counterattacked, and it wasn't packed up anymore. And you could clearly see Ayuso looking back. He was surprised that Roglič was not there next to him, and that's when he went. So I was kind of surprised that Roglič was able to make a comeback. You would think normally once they go with 800 meters to go and you can't immediately respond, normally that's it. You have to kind of try to limit the damage and try to stay where you are. He was able to recuperate some places and some time, and finally only lose 4 seconds. So I think it's all in all, it's not a bad day. It's not a catastrophe, for Roglič.
Yeah, and if this sounds people might be saying this seems familiar. I remember Juan Ayuso winning an uphill finish against Primož Roglič because this happened on stage 3 of the Volta Catalunya this year. Mm-hmm. And it's actually really, I mean, Ayuso was stronger, didn't have the gap at that stage that he had today.
Yeah,
very strong today. But this is like, I would hesitate to fall into a trap of like, oh, Roglič just doesn't have it because you saw him after the stage. The guy was not sweating it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's in pink. He's back in the lead.
Well, on that note, he's in pink. What's Red Bull? What do they do from here? Because they are a man down and now they have the lead. Like, are they excited to be in pink? Are they not excited about it?
It would have been better if UAE would have been in pink for them. But they are in pink, so they're probably not going to do it. But I would say try to get rid of pink. Independently, what's coming now, the gravel stage is a stage everybody needs to be in front, whether you're in pink or not. The time trial the day after is an important race, an important stage. But it is not, there is no real big GC stage until stage 16. So if somebody gets in pink and tries to defend it for 3-4 days, that would be great. So I would say try to let the break go and let somebody else take the pink. Doesn't seem to happen anymore nowadays. It's very rare.
Let's be clear. I don't think someone listening to this show right now is thinking, well, guys, he just should have sat up today and let UAE take the.
Oh, no, you can't do you can't do that. No, you can't lose time on Ayuso on purpose.
Well, I mean, we don't know how this is going to shake out, but the 4 seconds between them could not be insignificant. That like this might come down to. I don't think
no, I don't think so.
I don't know, man. Like there's been multiple Grand Tours recently, especially the Giro, like sub 50-second overall victories.
Yeah.
I mean,
with 4 seconds. It's not 4 seconds.
Okay, but 4 seconds is 4 seconds on 4 separate days. Like they starts to add up if you. Yeah. Like you couldn't just be like sitting up continually losing time because then Roglič, he's won a Grand Tour by 14 seconds and then he won another Grand Tour riding the course slower than the other rider because he picked up time bonuses where it mattered. Yeah. So the guy is like a master of fine.
Was that against Carapaz, the Vuelta?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was. You'd maybe put an asterisk on that because it was not a 3-week race. If you remember, it was like really a 2 and change week race.
Oh, was it the COVID edition?
Yeah, it was like 20% shorter than a normal Vuelta stage wise. But do you have anything else to say about this stage, or do you want to predict tomorrow?
About today, I think that's it. We don't really know much more. I think the time trial was a mental advantage for Primož, and today mental advantage for Ayuso, and they're almost even again. So we're back to square one.
Yeah. I mean, I've been getting a lot of complaints about how boring this race is, but I actually think they've planned it pretty well. I don't understand.
Think it's boring. I mean, I don't think it's boring. It's, even a stage like today, it's entertaining. You don't know who's going to win until the last 500 meters. We don't know who's going to be in pink until they cross the finish line. And we don't know what's going to be tomorrow.
I mean, we could go into stage 10 back to where we started the beginning of the race, which is pretty interesting between Roglič and Ayuso. I don't fully understand the second week that they have us. They basically have absolutely no GC action after that time trial. And I don't fully get that.
That's on paper, Spencer. Who knows? It's still the riders who decide what's going to happen in the stages. It's not always a big mountain stage that is decisive. Lots of things can happen.
But I think when RCS does third weeks like this, it spooks people to the point where they're less aggressive because it's actually scary.
And also this is the week that the teams who want to win stages from breakaways need to go full in, because they know that once we get to stage 16, we're in the high mountains and the chances are very slim for the vast majority of the riders to win a stage. So it's this week here. This week, the week that we are going to have in front of us is the week where it needs to happen for a lot of riders and a lot of teams.
Well, let's take a quick break, and then we will talk about the beginning of the breakaway phase on stage 8. All right, Johan, stage 8, tomorrow's stage, it is 197 kilometers. These are long transfers, by the way. These cities are not close to each other, and we're just starting at the coast, and then we start climbing from there. We go straight up the spine of the boot, if you will, north. There are 4 categorized climbs on the course. The big one right in the middle, Cat 1, 13K long, 7.3% average. Then there's 2 more climbs, including a really difficult one that tops out about 7K from the finish. It's classified as a Cat 4. It's less than a kilometer long, but it is very steep. I think that will probably decide the stage. I'll list off the favorites on Bet365, and then you'll tell us who's going to win and how this is going to play out. Tom Pidcock is the favorite at plus 900. Matthias Wadecek, I'll get this at some point. Wadecek is second at plus 900. I guess first, tied for first, plus 900. Jay Vine plus 1400. Eduardo Zambini plus 1600. Mads Pedersen plus 1600. Primož Roglič plus 1800. Isaac del Toro plus 1800. Pello Bilbao plus 2,800, Marco Frigo plus 2,800, Juan Ayuso plus 3,300, Giulio Ciccone plus 3,300, Romain Bardet plus 3,300. I won't keep reading them, but there's many more. But how do you think this is going to play out, Johan? Breakaway or not sprint, but breakaway or GC? Or
no GC. I think it's going to be a breakaway day. It's hard, 3,700 meters of vertical, so it's a hard stage. I'm going to go for Matthias Wadecek, especially because he has diamond legs, and it's a good opportunity for him to get in the break, to get the pink jersey. He's still up there. He's not a threat for the final GC, and also, if he's in I think tomorrow, if Wadecek decides that he has to be in the break, he's going to be in the break. His legs are that good. He's that good for the moment. So if he gets in there and UAE and Red Bull decide that it's okay, then I think he's going to win this. I think we have to pay attention on if he's in the if he's in the break, he will have to do the majority of the work to keep the difference and go for pink. But I think he's that good that he can actually do both for the moment in this first week. So plus 900, Matthias Wadecek for the win.
The thing I really like about him, other than the fact that he maybe is the strongest rider at this race and probably won't be bothered by these climbs, is the fact that Red Bull will want him to take the jersey, because if he's in the break, they're not going to pull it back. I do worry that he could be a little, like, it's just so obvious. Is he a little marked? I mean, you know how this can be. Like, we've just seen it 1,000 times. Like, the favorite gets marked out of the break. Everyone's following them. If that happens, we haven't thought about this guy since the last Giro d'Italia. He comes out once a year. He comes out of hibernation. Marco Frigo plus 2,800. This is Frigo time. That would be my pick, especially at that price. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's a breakaway specialist. He's in pretty good shape. He won a stage in Tour of the Alps from a breakaway. He did a long ride by himself, I remember. Really, really long, like 50, 60K on his own.
I think it was 80K on his own.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, even better.
Yeah, through like a mountainous stage.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing with these guys is that, they are known within the peloton. So lots of people are looking at these guys and say, okay, if this guy goes, I have to be in there also. But I think at this, what is he, plus 2,800?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good price. Yeah, I like that.
And if you real Frigo heads will remember, he is the rider that finished second behind Ben O'Connor when Ben O'Connor won the stage and took the lead at the Vuelta last year.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the Forrest Gump of breakaways. If you squint closely, he's in every consequential breakaway.
Yeah.
Do you have a wild card pick?
Well, it's difficult. It's difficult to pick a second one. I mean, especially because I think it will be breakaway. So, these are two obvious names. I'm just going to go, I'm just going to risk it and say, for some reason, the break doesn't stick and Mats Pedersen wins. It's a hard stage, but I think it's something that Pedersen could potentially make it to the finish. If the breakaway doesn't go and Pedersen can hang on, there's not going to be a lot of other sprinters, almost none, who can do this 3,700 meters. And we've seen already what he can do this year uphill. You could say, well, he was in the crash. He's hurt a bit. Today, he was definitely 100% at the service of the team and at the service of Vácek. So that could be another scenario tomorrow. But just because I have to pick another one, Mats Pedersen.
I don't hate it, actually. I mean, I think he could definitely win it from the peloton. I think he could win it from the breakaway. If I wouldn't rule him out getting the
he could win it from the breakaway if Vácek is not with him. That's another scenario that you could think of. Two little Trek guys in the break. Pedersen
think
and Vácek.
We might see that, actually. And then it's just a question of who works for whom. It gets a little tricky because I'll probably want to pay Vácek back, but you never know what happens in these moves. Sometimes you have to make decisions. Sometimes one of you attacks. And I mean, we see that all the time, right? Someone attacks, Vácek's sitting there, everyone's sitting on his wheel, and then no one chases down Pedersen. Pedersen wins. It's not impossible that happens. I'm inverting. My wild card is higher up than my first pick. Edoardo Zambonini. This guy, he finished, because you remember him from the stage, what was that, stage 5 sprint, where he nearly beat Mads Pedersen, was flying up the inside line. Very good small group sprinter, but also he got second in a Volta a España stage, a mountain stage, to Louis Menchis back in 2022, I believe. So he can climb. He is like a very good breakaway rider and is obviously quick. So I'm going to go him and on form, the most important part.
Yeah. And what price?
Plus 1,600. So actually lower than Frigo.
Yeah.
Other people have noticed.
Well, let's see tomorrow, Spencer.
And we don't think GC, correct?
No.
I don't think GC.
Not going to be a GC stage. No.
Well, we had a hard day today, and then stage 9 is very important. I don't necessarily know if it's going to be GC, but people will be focused on that. And then stage 10 right after the rest day, very important to the GC. So this would be a natural kind of let the foot off the gas stage.
As much as possible, but 3,700 meters, it's a lot of climbing to have an easy day. It's going to be hard. If you look at the profile, this is hard, really hard stage.
Now, I don't know if you noticed, like today, David Gaudu and Romain Bardet crashed. It was like on a climb in the middle of the peloton. went down and looked pretty dinged up. So it's like, just shows you have to be really like vigilant. Even if you're cruising along, going 350 watts on a climb, which is like zone 2 for some of these guys, you still have to like make sure you're at the front. You can't fall asleep, because right there, like, you could be hurt, could change the race. Yeah,
for sure.
All right, Johan. Well, we will be back tomorrow for to talk about stage 8, predict stage 9. You'll be at the Jan Ullrich Grand Final.
I'm traveling tomorrow morning early to Germany. I guess tomorrow evening there's a dinner event, and then Sunday morning a group ride where I'll be, I'll be on my bike. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I'll ride in the Black Forest on Sunday.
Beautiful area. Yeah, it'll be fun. And then you guys will have a move with Lance, you, and George on Sunday. This show will not happen on Sunday, and then we'll be back on Monday to predict stage 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thanks, thank you, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.